And good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is Mr. Kasarian, and welcome to episode 5 of Automation. Yay, all right. So we're going to design a new trim model on the Ambassador today. So let's do, I think it's new car. We'll do the Ambassador. Make sure it actually changes the time correctly. Yeah, there we go. And we are going to do new trim. Car trim 1. This is going to be the police version. All right, so same design. We're going to go with a white coloration on this one. Transverse four-wheel drive. And we're going to go with a new engine. So we'll do the C8 V22. And for this one, here's what we're going to do. We're going to duplicate the 4.7 carbureted. And then we're going to come into here. And we're going to say we're going to keep with the large displacement. This stuff should look about the same. Sorry, I'm messing with my microphone over here. Just get it out of my screen. There we go. So this should be about the same. That looks all good. Let's actually... let's do this. Let's do this with a 4CT, all right? So we're going to call this the 4.7 CT. So we're going to turbocharge this one, which means we're going to drop the stroke a little bit. Down to there. So let's do that. Oops. We'll look over at the fuel injectors, and we'll give it a bit more... 1,700 RPMs. We're going to come back to here. We're going to drop the compression down to 9, I think. And then we're going to turbocharge her. Yeah, thought so. So we have some pretty bad knocking issues now. We'll rich up the fuel mixture a little bit. Or at least as much as we can. So that's as high as we can get on the fuel mixture. Okay, and then we need to come back to here. Drop our compression just a little bit more. There we go. So we're doing 487 horsepower, okay? Our responsiveness is a little lower here, but we're doing a bit more torque. Okay, that's not too bad. So what we also should do here is we're going to go... We have double straights. Dual exhaust. If we increase our exhaust diameter a little bit, that gets us up to 500 horsepower. Okay. And a secondary, we're going to go for none. Yeah, okay, that doesn't really matter. So on the injectors, we have a little bit more octane to play with, but just a little bit. So can we rich this up at all? No, not at all. Okay, but what we can do here is I can say over here... I can go up to a full-on race system. All right, so that gets me a little bit more horsepower. Octane goes up just a little bit, all right? Now, I don't think I can do any more on the injection, just because we don't have electrical injection yet. But we're pushing 512 now, so that's not too shabby. All right, so what happens over here? So if I go with an air-to-air medium... Okay, so none is 512. Air-to-air large would be 535. Okay, what about water to air large? 540. Air to air huge, 535. Huge. Water to air medium. So that gets us up to a respectable 540. I just want to make sure this thing isn't too big. Yeah, okay, so yeah, turbocharging it makes it a little bit too big. Okay. So let's go back to variant capacities. Let's collapse this back in there for a minute. I don't know why this drops me to 9 frames, but okay. So if we go down to a 4-liter. Can we actually get it? Is it just me or is the size not changing at all? Yeah, is it just me or is it not changing the size one bit? Well, what happens if we go... So we're using short cast because we have the turbo on it. And a single doesn't help. I think it's the turbo issue. Yeah, it's the size of the turbos. Oh, because it's a twin turbo. Right, okay. Whereas the NA version is fine. Yeah, if I go with turbo, yeah, there's not enough space in there. All right, so here's what we'll do. Let's go to new model. All right. Oops. There we go. 1985. Okay. We're going to call this the Ambassador Police. All right. And the trim line, new trim, we'll call this... No, I want it to be Ambassador Police. I didn't want it to be car model 2. Oh, right, because we don't have a body in yet. Sedan bodies, let's restrict to the last 10 years. Has this decided to go sideways on me? Sandbox. Ambassador Police. Delete. New car. Oh, let's go back one. Hold on, gotta keep this all looking right. Delete. New car. Car model 2. Delete. And let's call this one... Let's delete. And let's delete. And 1986. All right. There we go. Sedan bodies, last 10 years. There. Apparently, there are no sedan bodies in 1986. All right, so we'll go with this body type. We'll go with a four-door design. Police variant, again. We'll give it a bit more cargo space there. We'll round that off in the back. We'll give it a kind of blunt nose on the front. That very, flat nose design. Monocoque. Galvanized corrosion-resistant steel. Okay. Transverse. Wishbone, wishbone. And oh, we have polymer now. Look at that. Okay. Safety is low, corrosion low, prestige low. We could go with fiberglass. Material cost, weight is low. Let's give fiberglass a shot, shall we? So engine bay volume is going to be 531L. All right, well, that isn't too bad. What's the difference here? Okay, so if we go front longitudinal, so it's not as long, but it'll give me more width. Okay, so that should be fine. All right, so headlight designs. Okay. Let's do something similar to what we did previously. All right, so let's do that. We'll do this, and then we'll do that. And we'll get ourselves some indicators. Put those there, rotate them onto the vertical. Zoom in a little bit. Come on. A little bit more. There we go. And then let's get another set of headlights. You know what this game needs? A ruler. That looks good there. All right, so for grills, we're going to go with a different style of grill here. So we're going to do... And we'll go with a secondary grill. Then I want something that looks kind of aggressive. Nah, that's not what I want. Nope. Excuse me, hold on. You know, trust me to have the Minecraft forums up in the background and have that playing songs when I'm trying to record a video. Just, of course, this is going to be exactly what happens there. So let's go with something like this, maybe? No. I want that with a backing on it. Yeah, like this. That's good. That's nice. I like that design a lot. Oops. Nope. But I almost want to flip this on top. There we go. That looks nice, like that. All right, good. So then let's go back a bit. We can do exhausts now. We'll put 2 of those on there. Actually, what we'll do, we'll go with the doubles. But not the fancy doubles, just the regular doubles. All right, so we have the regular double rears on there. And bonnet. Let's go with a bonnet extension. I like that look. And then indicators, we'll go with... We won't do chrome. This isn't a very fancy car. This is a police model, remember. So we can put an indicator there, and we can put another indicator there. You know, I think on the other design we never did taillights. What if I shrink them, and then I rotate them? Let's rotate them again. That looks pretty nice, actually. I'll go back a bit. Can I put these on the front? Doesn't appear that I can. But I kind of want to get like a light bar look. Okay. Handles. Something easy. No, I don't like those. Well, what if we did the... No, we won't do them black. Let's do... Not the fanciest looking things, but this is a cop car after all. So, we're not too worried about, you know, how fancy it looks. We're worried about this. How it performs. Oh yeah, we have to flare. Well, nah, it'll be fine. Let's go up 2. Alright, and no badges because it is a cop car. So we're going to go with an all-wheel drive engine. And we're going to go with a new engine design. And we should probably rename this. The Ambassador Police Alpha. For our engine type, we're going to use the C8V22, I think. Unless it turns out we can't fit the C8V22. No, we can fit it. Okay, good. And then we can go family size. Put a turbocharger in, make sure it still fits. Yeah, everything fits still. All right, that's nice. Glad to hear that. All right, so we have the air intake. Do an air-to-air intake cooler. Unless I did a water-to-air medium. That's not bad right there. All right. So we should also switch to ball bearings on those. This needs, I know from experience, this needs to go down to something like 8.1. Cam profile could stay the same. Injector configuration, let's bump this up just a little bit. And let's give her a shot here. Alright, so we're looking at about 509 horsepower. So that's a bit of a horsepower boost that we just got there. Okay. Nothing's freaking out on this engine. But size is an issue somewhere. No, it's just... Okay. We're close, but not quite there yet. Okay. So if I look at this, I'm at 91. I'm 91.3 square. So this is... Oh, I didn't want to do that. What am I using for my fuel here? No, I'm using carburetor DCOE. Okay. So if we copy this, so this is the... Oh, we should have opened up the 4.7 CT engine. There we go. Okay. So we go in here, we go here, we go here, we go here, and here. How are you doing? Why are you only doing 332 horsepower? Because you're too rich on the engine. What the hell's going on here? Oh, right. There we go. All right. Now, this is a cop car, so I don't much care about how much... Yeah, okay. We're still doing good here. All right. Compressed, we can drop down... So we're at 522. This drops us to 520. But then if we want to boost our engine timing a little bit... Oh, that's much better. So let's bring that back just a little bit. And we can bring our compression up a little bit more. Good. Good. 97.7. We can boost our cam profile a little bit. And... Boom. Actually, then we can advance our engine timing. And then our cam adjustments can match that. There we go. We're still getting a bit of engine knock. There we go. Ah, see? And then we can also, in our exhaust lines, fix our exhaust diameter issues a little bit. And that dropped my ticket. Oh, because octane issues. Right, okay. I can't up the cam profile anymore, so we can do that. And then we can take up some of the rest of this in turbo boost. So if I increase my max boost... Alright, so this is where I have to screw with numbers a while to actually figure out what I'm supposed to do here. Okay, so we're pulling 582 horsepower out of this engine at that RPM setting. But the question is whether I can actually get more out of it at a higher RPM. And a knock warning. Okay, so we can back off the timing a little bit. So we're pushing about 580. I'd actually like to be able to pull some more out of that at 6,900. I'd actually like to be able to pull more power out of that, but I'm not certain if I can, really. Yeah, there's not much more I can do to the turbine there. Yeah. I have to bring the compression down even more. But I don't really want to. That's the problem. I can back the ignition timing off just a little bit. But I don't really want to do that. I could back off my compression even more. Back that down like that. And then on my turbo, There we go. 604. Now, does this let me put more fuel in? Right there. So I'm at a 12-to-1 ratio on that. But that's giving me 96 more horsepower to play with there. So I can actually boost my compression ratio back up a little bit. Not that much. And then give myself a little bit more engine timing. There we go. My economy sucks. And I'm tearing through those pistons and rods. But on the other hand, the 4.7 CT engine for the Ambassador Police line is producing 606 horsepower. Okay. So that all looks good. Let's hear how she sounds. Listen to that engine. That's nice. That's nice. Okay. So we're going to go with a manual, single clutch, 5-gear ratios, and this gets us up to 177 miles an hour. Wow. Give her just a little bit of overdrive there. Just going to give her a little bit more so our optimal power is up there. Seems to be pretty decent. So I think... Do I want to go with viscous or geared? Let's go with viscous. So let's keep prices down as much as we can. Yeah, it's the only one that gives us decent... Now we need to go with geared. That's unfortunately the only way to do it. Okay, so that gives us that. We'll go sports compound road with alloys on there. Except we'll go with... this looks more... No, this looks more cop-like. Yeah, there we go. And then we're going to go with vented singles, solid singles. We're going to give it racing, because we're designing a pursuit car, basically. 80-80. Okay, we're good. We're good. And then I'm going to guesstimate we're going to need 240s and 200s. That's what I'm going to guess, all right? You and I only know, all right? Okay, so I don't think we're going to need much. Let's go with no under tray. Cooling airflow, we need 332, so let's pull that all the way up. 360 seems good to me. We'll go with a 4-seat. With a... basic interior, no entertainment, all of the driving assists, advanced 80s, and we'll go with an air mount suspension. Well, I mean, we could go... Yeah, okay, I'd rather go with air mount. Twin tube dampers, but with a sport system there. Details. 36, 36, 25, 48. All right, that's not too bad. What am I losing on sportiness here? Driver assists, understeer, oversteer. Okay, chassis stiffness, brake fade. Oh, my good enemy of brake fade. All right, so downforce I'm losing on, so let's go fully clad. Right, I don't actually have any downforce on this thing. So we're fully clad. What about none? All right, so top speed's higher. Top speed's the same. None. Okay, so it looks like we're just doing with none. Okay. Why do I have a dragline doing weird crap there? Okay, brake fade. Okay, minus 5.9. So if we boost that... Okay, so we're not really gaining much there. 4.4, 3.9. Oh, I see what's happening here. Okay, hold on. So what this is showing us is how much pressure we're putting down. And what we're doing now is I'm actually boosting this up until we get to... That's the biggest we can put on there. Let's go with a 2-piston rig. right, let's push this all the way back up. Find a nice balance point. So what I want to do is I want to put it so that the tires and the brakes are at about the same range there. So see what I'm doing there? Now I'm over padding this a little bit because we have that brake fade issue, which is the big problem here. So my rear braking force is going to be... Unless I did double to go to 2 pistons on the rears. Okay, so my rear brakes are actually more powerful than my fronts right now. Ugh. What if we go to a 1-piston vented design? Yeah, because what's happening here... Okay, so we boost that a little bit. So what's happening here, though, is you can see it's not affecting this at all because we're actually already exceeding the amount of force that we can put down here. And I'm not certain... Yeah, I have to increase the size. So what's happening is brake fade is something of a danger, all right? So what happens with brake fade is that... There we go. We're good. What happens with brake fade is that you end up, as your brakes, I think it says your brakes heat up, you actually end up losing power, basically. You will lose braking power as your brakes heat up. So that's why going with venteds on the front and the back is actually helping me solve the brake fade. For some reason, this car is getting a lot of brake fade, probably because it's big and it's heavy, all right? So that's fine there. All right, so if we go in here, you can see it has no entertainment, basic interior, advanced 80s. That's not too bad. How is my suspension looking? Not terrible, actually. We could have a bit sportier suspension in there, which is what I'm thinking of doing. So we want to sporty up the suspension just a little bit. Yeah, that's probably fine there. We don't want to knock down our drivability by too much. Let's look back over to here at detail stats. So sportiness, what else am I losing? Pad type, great. Quality, great. Torque curve, they love that torque curve. They don't like the engine sound, huh? Huh. All right, well, let's go back to the engine then. I mean, if you guys don't want mufflers on this thing, that's fine by me. I mean, let's listen to this thing now. Good enough for you guys? I think so. And the game. All right, so I think I have this ironed out now. I think. I actually want to give it a bit more downforce at the back, just to give it some more stick. Without sacrificing too much speed. Okay, so there we go. We have that. We could do fully clad. That actually lifts my top speed a little bit, but it drops my... Why does it drop my sportiness, I wonder? That's interesting. Okay. Well, 144.3 isn't too bad. We got some downforce going on in the rear. That's nice to see. Okay, we got that. We got that. What does my wheel slip actually look like here? Wheel spin is only about 13. That isn't terrible, actually. Yeah, that makes it pretty terrible in a hurry. Yeah, and it doesn't really gain me that much either. So we'll do that. We could go up to semi-slicks, but I don't think we need to, really. I don't think we need to at all. But anyways, so now we have a pretty decent car. Sportiness is good. Drivability is pretty decent. Safety is excellent. Good. I like to see that. Sportiness. They don't like the driver assists. The understeer oversteer thing is a pain in the neck for them, apparently. But that's fine. Chassis stiffness is an issue, but I have no idea how to fix that. All right. I don't even know. I don't even... A lot of positives. Tire profile isn't good. CD is still not great, but it's better than it was. Downforce is not great. Suspension options are good. That's good. That's good. That's good. Okay. So is there anything else we could do to get some more points? We could take off some driver assists. We could correct the understeer oversteer issue, but we'd lose a lot of drivability by doing that because... no, we're getting that there too. Okay, so apparently we're getting the worst of both worlds right now. Now, just for the sake of seeing it, what happens if I... okay, so that does that. That increases my sportiness a bit. A really decent bit. But that sets it into oversteer land. Okay. So we're going to go with a slightly smaller there. What does grip do here? Okay, so if I boost this a little bit, what does grip do? It doesn't change atrociously, all right? So what I can then do, though, is I can come back into my suspension. And I can do this. So you just want to put it right on this line. But just without rolling over. So we've gotten about one there, and we've lost about half one there. Okay, well, that's not bad. What if we stiffen up our dampers just a little bit? We're sacrificing comfort here, but... because remember, this is a police car. So, travel, right? If I stiffen my rear dampers. Doesn't do much. Stiffen up the sway bar a little bit. Did that go up or down? Okay, so it's making sportiness go down. Okay. So you actually have a bit better drivability. That's oversteer. So we bring that down. Okay, that looks pretty decent up there. If we kick up the ride height just a little bit. Okay, look at that. So we've gotten that out of the way. Our sportiness is still high, and our drivability is back up a little bit. Good. Okay. Anything else we want to do here? Can I give myself a little bit more negative camber? A bit more camber. That kicks me over the limit. That kicks me way over the limit. Let's bring that down. If I bring this back down a little bit. It doesn't look like it's really changing anything. So we go bump, a little bit of sway back, and it comes back down. That looks pretty good, actually. That looks pretty good. So I think we now have a fully functional vehicle, all right? Take it out to the test track. We'll do this on the airfield. That's loud. That's nice. Coming through the corner. We're going to come into the straightaway now. We're pulling a full G sideways, which is pretty nice. Getting up to 200 miles an hour through the drive-thru. 160 kilometers through the drive-thru. Coming back up. Come back down to second gear. We're doing 120 kilometers an hour in second gear. All right. Track stats, please. Total time is 1 minute 26. Not bad. Braking, we can go from 62 miles an hour to 0 in 35 meters. That's pretty good. That's actually pretty good. 35 meters in 1982 to go from 62 to nothing. Okay. That's pretty good. That's pretty darn good. I want to come back here for a minute and just see if I can tweak this at all. Oh. That's doing wonderful things for my wheel spin. Right, because I have good power in the back too, so that helps. So that brought my wheel spin down a little bit. Wow, that's good. 0 to 62 in 5.2 seconds. Eek. $180. So it looks like right at about the 40 to 50 mark, our engine is actually more powerful than our tires. Well, okay. So the entire start line, our engine is more powerful than our tires. Okay. So that's an issue right there. All right. So we could be getting a lot more power out of this thing if we could get those tires to grip a little better. So let's actually bump the quality in our tires a little bit. Yeah, that's not really helping much at all. We need better grip on these. That's the big issue. But I'm not seeing a good way to do that. Well, actually, let me see something here. Let's go to downforce, all right? Let's give ourselves a lot of downforce. Except that's not going to help me at all. Because the problem is that we're having our issue not at high speed, but we're having our issue at standing speeds. All right? So that's our big issue, that we're stationary and we're having issues. That is an issue now, ain't it? That's an issue. Yeah, I don't think I can... Well, that got us a little bit more grip. We had to have some really nice tires on this thing, though. That's the problem. And I can't... Let's think about this for a minute, all right? So let's go all the way up as high as we can. We got up to 225s, all right? So we're now at 7.5 versus... Yeah, all right, so that's the... Let's go up to this, and then let's go up to 225s to the front. So we have a bit of an offset there. And then let's fix it with our... over here. Because we have a fair bit of tweak left in our camber. There we go. Okay, so we're now not going to kill people. Good. We're not killing people. Ha! Okay, so let's come back over to here now. Yeah, we just can't get any lower than 7.4. I think we're just driving too much power to the floor. If we bring this up a little bit. All right, so we got our wheel spin down a little bit by doing some interesting things to the gearing ratios. But there's not much else we can do there. That's going to be the major issue. If I bring this down a little bit. Bring it up a little bit. Yeah, okay, so that seems to be the best we can do. Actually, let's give her just a little bit of overdrive on that. Yeah, it should be fine. Okay, so we have a little bit of slip, and we have a lot of slip. Okay, well, we're just going to deal with that, all right? Because traction control is going to be important. Yeah, that's about all we can do. But that's not bad. That's not bad. So it's a 41.1, 47.7, 9.7, 26.5, and then 54.6. Not too shabby. So that is definitely a police model Interceptor that we have now built. Let's reopen this for a second. And let's name this thing the Interceptor. Yeah. You can see I've redone the front a little bit, different grille design. So it's still a little shiny, but it still, you know, kind of looks police-like. But it looks very American in that nose. Ironically, the rear end looks a little very European, but the front nose looks very American. Very American 80s. All right, guys, this has been Mr. Kasarian. I hope you enjoyed this episode. We now have a police Interceptor built, and I will hopefully see you guys in the next episode. So thank you so much for watching. If you liked it, give me a like, a comment, or a subscription. Let me know you're out there. See you in the next episode.